This was meant to be a preview of Company of Heroes 3. I'm not a Company of Heroes player. I played the first one many moons ago. Never really played the second one at all, but I had it in my game library. And 3, yeah, because of the state of the way games are at the minute, I was thinking, thank goodness, something that looks decent is coming along. So I was really happy when I got into the playtest yesterday, albeit just a multiplayer playtest. Well, you could play with bots in a skirmish match. So I went into that, green as grass, not even remembering me Company of Heroes 1 days. And so I did the tutorial, and I thought this didn't look right. I thought this can't be, this is 2023, this looks shite, to be honest. So I went through the tutorial, did a skirmish, and then I thought, F it, I'm going to load up Company of Heroes 2. So I installed Company of Heroes 2, and I started playing my way through the campaign. And after a couple of missions, I thought, hang on a minute. I switched it off, went back into Company of Heroes 3, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And yeah, it's true. Company of Heroes 3 looks shite. What's wrong with this? It looks, do you know what it looks like? It looks like a studio set. It just looks clean and nice, and it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look real. You know, it's like toys. I remember the first game that I ever saw do this was The Elder Scrolls Online. I haven't played through Skyrim and Morrowind and Oblivion. And then when Elder Scrolls Online came out, it all looked clean. It looked like you were in a studio, like on a studio set, on a stage. Nothing looked real. And that's what's wrong with this. It's the tanks, the soldiers, they just don't look right. Yeah, and the fob's horrible. And the zoom, what's with the zoom? What's with the awful zoom? I mean, it's a war. Why can't I see more than what I've got? It's just like a shitty zoom as well. You've got all this wrong with it. What I do like is you can pause the game during combat in the campaign and issue orders, because this is one of the reasons I didn't like Company of Heroes. It got way too micromanagey frantic with all your different units, whereas in the kind of RTS games that I love, you can just group a whole load of them. I mean, you can still group them up in this, but it's not the same. You need to have every individual unit micromanaged, and that got a bit tedious for me in this, but I can understand why people would love that. It's just, you know, different people like different things, I guess, but it is still a great game, and I did want to really get stuck into Company of Heroes 3, but the way it looks now, everything looks plastic, and the sounds aren't very good. Here's the comparison of the sounds. In fact, I'll be switching between 3 and 2 a lot in this video, because I'm looking at the UI, looking at the graphics, looking at the realism, looking at it just how it all looks like a studio set. And I'm so pissed off because if you watched the video I released a couple of weeks ago, I had this earmarked for one of the top releases of 23, and now it's just disappointing. It's just really, really disappointing that this is what's happened with this game. If you're unfamiliar with Company of Heroes, it's massive online. In fact, most people, I think, play online, but it does have campaigns and shit tons of DLCs. That's another thing I've noticed on Company of Heroes 2. Just tons and tons of DLCs that you pretty much need to play the game in its fullest state, which I found pretty disgusting, really. I mean, you don't get a lot with the base game. And the base game isn't cheap. I mean, this base game for Company of Heroes 3, it's about 50 quid for the base game. And then you're going to probably get a load of DLCs to make it up to what is the full actual proper game. We don't know, that's speculation, but we'll see what happens when it comes out. I'm still going to review it. I just wish they would dirty it up a bit. But yeah, like I was saying, it's a war game where manufacture different units from your HQ, like a typical RTS game, but it's more capture and hold on the map, taking strategic points, micromanaging each unit because they might have different weapons, different abilities to do things, and you're just generally pushing around doing the objectives of the map. And you have some, well, from playing Company of Heroes 2 today, you have some really good close atmospheric firefights. Unfortunately in Company of Heroes 3 I never really found that. I just couldn't get away with the graphics. I can't get away with a tank coming onto the scene that looks like it's just come out of a car wash, you know, and it looks cartoony a bit. It just didn't look, at first when and this is the thing, when I first started to play it, I liked 3 because I went straight into 3 like I said. I was enjoying myself because, you know, I'm new to Company of Heroes. But as I played it a little while, it didn't feel like this equated to the huge following that Company of Heroes has. And that was what drove me to Company of Heroes 2, because I had to see for myself, and I knew I had it in my library. And I was getting sort of little flashbacks to Company of Heroes 1, thinking, no, this is how it looked in 1, and it shouldn't be like this in 3. And sure enough, like I said, when I installed 2, yeah, it's almost like they were done by different companies. I mean, they're both by Relic, so I don't know what's going on, guys, but I'm very disappointed that a £50 game in 2023 with the graphic capabilities and engines that we have today, this is the result, considering Company of Heroes 2 was released in 2013, which is, guys, it's 10 years ago. And the first one's from 2006. And even that looks more kind of realistic than this one. It's a shame. It's a shame. But anyway, guys, when it does come out, and I hope it is the back end of the year now, I hope it gets really pushed back. But when it does come out, I'll be playing through the campaign and giving you a full-on review. And let's hope that they get rid of the cartooniness and make it look gritty and dirty like a war. It's a war, not a fucking showroom.
All back to the bridge.